Momodora Moonlit Farewell is a lovely gem of a Metroidvania game that I almost missed entirely. It's short, as it only took me about 10 hours on my first playthrough on normal difficulty, but well worth the time. It was a beautifully made game that I would recommend this to almost anybody, but especially anybody who's brand new into the Metroidvania genre or somebody who just wants a more casual experience. Anybody who complained that the bosses in Hollow Knight were too difficult and enjoy Metroidvania games will probably like this one. It does a lot of things right, and it's only lacking in a few areas. I'm not gonna lie, I apparently slept on this whole series. I'm pretty sure the game is the 5th and final game in the Momodora series. This one was released in January 11th of 2024. That said, Moonlit Farewell can be played and understood all on its own just fine. I'll be the first one to tell you that I don't pay enough attention to the stories in games. I am in it for that sweet, sweet gameplay. Moonlit Farewell did a great job of pacing out the story so that it was not overly intrusive on the gameplay. It was easy to understand and follow, and in short, you play as a High Priestess Momo from Koho, and she's setting out to save her people from demons or gods, and it's a pretty simple, straightforward story. I played this one on the Steam Deck, and it worked great. I had no graphic issues, crashes, bugs, or anything like that. I would highly suggest it on the Steam Deck. What made me want to play Momodora in the first place was the art style. It has a beautiful 16-bit art style similar to the SNES games, but much more detailed. Kind of reminds me of Celeste, or even more so Rusted Moss. Both are great games, by the way. There are a bunch of different areas that look great, just enough diversity of the enemies to keep everything feeling fresh, and about 16 different bosses. Some of those 16 I'd call mini bosses and not all that tough. In fact, the boss fights were the only areas that are lacking, as many can be just DPS rushed and you don't need to be too careful. You can just attack spam them until they finally go down. Maybe pay attention to 1 or 2 attacks. This game has all of the foundations for everything that makes a good Metroidvania, but takes few risks to add anything really innovative. There's a good mix of exploration, new enemies, backtracking, finding upgradable items and bosses. The pacing's great, and I really enjoyed the use of a mini-map. In most Metroidvania games, I find myself having to keep an eye on the map anyways. This just made things a little easier. The mini-map also had question marks on each room where there was something available to be discovered. This made finding all of the upgrades much easier. I feel like this could have been added as an upgrade to make the map more like the Ori games, but I liked it. This is one of the features that'll make it much easier for the new Metroidvania players. That, and there's also a light mode that will scale with the game's difficulty based on how good or bad the players do it. Another thing to pay attention to is Lenovo Legion's desktop gaming computers. These things are constantly going on sale. Looking at it right now live, it is 28% off, 28, 31% off. These computers are constantly going on sale for the top of the line gaming computers. They sent me out a top of the line one not too long ago, and it is absolutely amazing. And also, if you need something a little more portable, they've just recently released a Lenovo Legion Go. Let me know if you even knew that was a thing. This thing looks cool. I can't wait to check this out. So don't forget to check out Lenovo Legion down in the description below. The combat was really fun. The main character Momo wields a magic leap that has a 3-hit combo. There is a bow and an arrow that can be used for ranged attacks, and there is the ability to dodge right from the start. If you spam the attack too fast, you won't be able to dodge and heal in time. There is a sigil system where you will find magic cards while out exploring. You start off with 2 upgrade slots and can get more slots as you progress. Each card only takes up 1 slot, so you can mix and match however you want and not have to worry about the cost of each card. There is a card that will give you a second chance at life if you die, a way to send a triple shot on the bow, a way to deal more damage, and so on. I really like this system a lot, as it's pretty similar to most Metroidvania games. If anything, this one's a little more lenient than others because it doesn't deal with like charm notch costs for Hollow Knight. You could just use whatever you want. Again, I'm new to making these Metroidvania review videos. Let me know what you think of these down in the comments. If you're finding them helpful or useful, maybe a subscribe or a like, either one would be greatly appreciated. The game map was not too crazy large and is pretty easy to get around. One of the major drawbacks of Moonlit Farewell was that the path was kind of linear as far as where you need to go, upgrade, fight bosses, etc. There was usually only one correct path, and anything beyond that was just sidetracking to get an attack up or some in-game currency. There was only one place in particular that I remember the platforming being really difficult. It was much more difficult than anything else in the game for no good reason, and all that did was to open up backtracking for a door. It just seemed out of place. One of the things I really liked about Moonlit Farewell was as soon as any bit of the game started to get a little bit annoying, the problem was solved by playing just a little bit more. First example is that the movement felt a little bit slow, but pretty early on, the first major upgrade you get is the sprint ability. So right away, that made the game feel so much better. I just wish that sprinting wasn't limited by stamina. I get why the mechanic is there, but it got annoying at times when I just wanted to get from point A to point B. The second time, I was thinking it would be nice to be able to fast travel. I couldn't figure out how or where that would fit into the game, but then shortly after that, bam, two-tailed cat appears out of nowhere, and you're able to get around the map really quickly to most of the save spots. The downside is that the fast travel came once you're like 2/3 of the way done with the game. It's not an issue if you're just playing straight through the game, but if you got lost or wanted to backtrack and try to get some of those items off your map that you saw earlier, then the fast travel system would have been a great addition earlier in the game. As far as upgrades go for mobility, none of them were too crazy. After sprinting, you eventually got the standard ability to double jump and then wall jump. The most notable ability is the upgrade to the lunar attunement, which is kind of like going Super Saiyan. It lets you go through the moon mist locks and jump way higher and deal more damage at the cost of stamina. Would have loved to see more unique abilities in this game, but hey, at least you got to pet the cats. If you're looking for a hardcore Metroidvania that's going to test your limits, Moonlit Farewell might not be your cup of tea, but let's not discount the charm it brings to the table. It's a beautifully crafted game with a lush art style and engaging combat system that's perfect for newcomers or for some of you who just want something more casual. It's a bit on the linear side, and the bosses aren't too crazy. There's a couple of them that are tough, don't get me wrong, but it's not over-the-top difficult Nightmare King Grim style. What Moonlit Farewell does offer is a solid, enjoyable experience with just enough challenge to keep things interesting. This game nails the fundamentals and wraps it up in a package that's just really pretty. It's like comfort food for Metroidvania lovers. It's satisfying, it's familiar, and hey, it lets you pet the cat, which is always a win in my book. So would I recommend Momodora Moonlit Farewell? Absolutely. It's a concise, well put together title that deserves a spot in your gaming library. So let me know, did you play Moonlit Farewell? What did you think of the game? What did you like about it or not like about it? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below. Thank you again so much to my members for sponsoring the channel. Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. Again, my name is Relyea, and I'll talk to you again more real soon. Thanks. Bye.